Okay, so I get this question all the time, and the first thing I'd say is get your mindset out of what is a winning product, because you're thinking down the TikTok viral kind of route, you're thinking down the dropshipping route. The question you should be asking yourself is, how do I build a brand out of a product, and what product do I choose to build a brand out of? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, we need to know why people buy things. This is the most important thing that you need to think about. So a few different reasons, and please note these down. So the first reason people buy is to save time. Okay? It's the first reason. Now, whatever you decide to choose, it doesn't need to apply to all of these. You just need to have at least a couple, all right? So it saves time, improves confidence, so this is the single reason here that the makeup market exists. There's another reason, HPV, which is a high perceived value. So this is why the jewelry market exists. If your product has a HPV, typically you have very good margins as well. So another thing that you can add to this is just improves health. And typically across these four reasons, and just the idea of somebody's day generally being made easier or their life experience being better, that is why they buy. So what do we have here? We have save time. It's exactly why Amazon's fulfillment model is so successful. They are not necessarily an e-commerce brand. They are a fulfillment agent. That's how their business runs. Improves confidence. Here we have the entire makeup market and skincare and all of that good stuff. HPV, we have jewelry and cars. And then here we have the entire supplement industry. Okay. Now, straight off the bat, what type of stuff is interesting you when it comes to niche wise?
Out of all of these,
Yeah.
probably the supplement, because it's can buy it more than one.
Okay, so supplements. Why do people buy supplements? That's a very good point. You can have a subscription business model out of it, which brings me to the different types of winning products. I'm gonna wipe this down a second, because now that we understand why people buy, let's talk about the type of ways that you can sell to people and which way is the best way to sell to people. Because a lot of problem that a lot of the problems that e-commerce brands have is that they don't understand the best way to sell their product. So you have three different tiers, essentially, of winning e-commerce products. And we need to stop calling them winning e-commerce products, and I'll do that as well. But the first kind of layer at the bottom is just mid to low ticket OTP. And what this is just a one-time purchase, low ticket. This is a good business model, but you need to understand you're in this business model and it is not the most optimal. So coming in at third, we have the mid to low ticket OTP. Okay, so this might be something like cheap jewelry. It might be sports equipment, something along those lines, gym equipment, right?
Yeah.
And then what we have is the second tier, which is high value, if I can spell, OTPs, right? Now, this is just essentially high ticket sales. So anything furniture, anything luxury jewelry, anything that you can charge generally over $80 for, right? So something that maybe the customer is going to take a bit more persuasion on, all the way up to $1,000 purchases and above. So, furniture and all of that good stuff. The reason this is great is because there's great margins in it, but it's very hard to get off the ground. It's very hard to convince somebody that's seeing a Facebook ad or a Google ad for the first time that they're going to go and spend more than $80. With those types of people, you need to hit them once, you need to hit them twice, and typically it takes 7 times for people to see an ad before they purchase, right? That's why, and we can get onto this later, but this is why running ads for a long time is so important, because of retargeting. So typically this is quite hard to get off the ground. It's easier to get this off the ground because it's lower, your conversion rate is going to be higher, and that's not necessarily down to however the website looks. It's just because it's cheaper and people don't think about spending $30, $40, whatever, right? Then the top tier here is a mid to low ticket subscription. So the reason that this is brilliant is because what you essentially do is you take this mid to low ticket one-time purchase model, then whatever you do, whatever your price is, give it for 20% off as a subscription, right? And what you do is you just incentivize people to go for the subscription, and your business should be subscription first, which means when you come to the product page, it should be showing the subscription price first. Your emails should be talking about subscription. You kind of want to make people feel guilty for going for it one time. Now, the majority of people are going to go for it one time, but what this does is it builds you a bank of subscribers every single month. And this is what investors are interested in. As much as you can run up a mid to low ticket business, you can exit it, great. This is what the investors will want. If you can say to them, hey, we're doing X run rate and here's our valuation, you can bump that valuation up more because some of them are subscribers. Yeah. And what you're doing here is you have high LTV, okay? So you need to understand, first of all, why people buy, which is one of the segments that we just spoke about. Maybe it's multiple segments within the product that you're looking at. And the reality is it doesn't really matter what product you choose as long as they are, as long as they have one of those attributes, right? Then you need to look at how can you sell it. And if you can get into this region here, you're laughing. Now, as you're talking about supplements, that fits right into here. Now, the final thing we'll talk about is how do you then market supplements when the supplement business, the industry, is so rammed full of everything, right? So let's take, for example, one of the most saturated products for, the supplement niche, nootropics. Let's look at that. Yeah. Because most people go, oh, well, I don't know how to sell ashwagandha because everyone's selling ashwagandha and the big companies sell it. So how am I ever going to compete? You compete with one word. That product is niche, right? So what you do is you now understand why people buy. You've decided to go down the supplement route, for example, right? You then find a product within that supplement route. You charge the subscription business model, and most people go for one-time purchase, but you are building that bank of subscribers as well. But how do I now sell a product that everyone and their mother is trying to sell? This is where most brands fail, because they'll get the idea and it's a good product, and then they'll get the subscription model together, and then they'll put out an ad that says, hey, these ashwagandha gummies made me bipolar, or whatever it is they say, right? So they talk about the benefits and they just say, hey, look, like, we're not really seeing huge success, right? That comes down to niche. So what type of niche can you attach to a product? Or you can actually attach most niches to a product. For example, let's take nootropics, which is a product that helps your brain function better. Maybe it's lion's mane, maybe it's one of these supplements, right? Let's take that to start with and attach it to a niche, right? So once you've done this, you've then segmented an audience and you can now market directly to this audience. So instead of selling nootropics to everybody, we're now going to sell nootropics to gamers, right? For better game performance or whatever, right? We're now going to sell this to business people, okay? Entrepreneurs, right? Already, you've taken a product and now you've gone into an audience and a niche and you can target to that audience. So we could have gamers, we could have business people, we could have ADHD, we could have whatever type of niche it is. You can now attach this product to a niche and you can then corner that part of the market, because what you don't want to do is go for everybody, but you want to let MyProtein and Amazon, go for those audiences, because what they'll do is they will go ahead and charge the lowest price possible, essentially, because their business model is at complete scale. It's as big as it can be. You're starting off. So what we want to do is market it towards, I would probably go for something like gamers, and then have all the ads based around, do you want to up your performance? Do you want to beat your teammates? Do you want to be the best? Do you want to carry everyone? Like, that would be the ads. And then on the flip side, you could have, if I don't drop my pen, you could have the tired entrepreneur, right? You could have the business person that wants to perform better, or you could have the person struggling with ADHD, or you could have the person who plays darts, right? Darts is probably too small of a niche, but you'd be very surprised once you go into these, bearing in mind how big something like the gaming market is and how big the business people and ADHD niches are. That is the way that I would take a product that is a winning product, and first of all, understand why it's a winning product so that you can go and identify others when you see them. Because realistically, most products that sell, even if they're just in supermarkets, you can go ahead, put the right business model towards them and attach them to the right business model, and then just attach a niche to them. And you'll be able to corner the market. And once you go ahead and take an audience, the best thing is that you can charge a better price for it, because you can say it's specifically for gamers or entrepreneurs. Go ahead.
When you choose a niche, do you go straight into and just do that specific niche, or would you test, say, like 3 niches at once?
I would commit to choosing a niche at first, and what you're going to need to do is base your whole website and ad copy around it. So you can simply do this with some good image ads. The best way that you could actually do it is to have your website be typically quite broad to start with, and then you could test multiple niches by having ads that call out each audience segment. So you could say, hey gamers, or hey the next Jeff Bezos, or hi person struggling. But essentially what you could do is just have ads in a CBO and just have potentially even the same image, and just call out within the copy. You could have an image of the product, and then just within the copy, you could literally just call out each single niche. You could have 10 niches in there with all the different copy, see which one Facebook optimizes towards. And then that will tell you, okay, it's gamers, for example, right?
Yeah.
Now you're going to change the whole website. You're going to change everything for gamers so that it's specifically talking to these people. That first test from a return on ad spend perspective probably won't go that well. But what you're looking for is to find out, hey, which niche can I divert into? And that's how you take something that is just an initial product idea, slap on the right business model, understand why it works, and that's super important. You need to look at products and say, why are people buying this? Because then what you can do is talk about those pain points, why people buy, whilst also attaching all of these different niches.